And we're back. And we're back. Getting now into sequencing this track now that we have our ingredients. So let's take a look at the recipe instructions and follow along with the example here. So first we're going to start by putting an impact on bar 1. So if you want, we can expand these. Sometimes it's helpful just to minimize stuff. Oh, another thing to keep in mind as we're doing this, I'm going to now turn all of these on. I'm going to bring all of my levels down to -6. These are all -6, you can see. And then the main track is 0. Just helps with the levels just to get started. We're just going to keep these on. Highlight all of those level 6 because we don't want any clipping, and so just by having that set up to start, it gives us some headroom when we're producing. So -6, and then here let's turn all of these on. I'm going to put these at -6 and here at -6. Here at -6. Boom. Cool. All right. Now we're going to put an impact on bar 1. Bam. It already is. Now we're going to put a riser going from bar 9 to bar 16 and then leave 1 bar of silence before bar 17 to make room for the turnaround. So riser from bar 9 to bar 16. This is why I really like this long riser. So we could just drag it out, and we just want to make sure that we have a whole bar of silence before bar 17. So there, we've got that. And if we want it here, we could either like fade this in at bar 9. And to do that, I just grabbed in this top corner fade marker. You could do that. So we have that. Now find a 4-bar chord progression using your chord instrument. If you already have a chord progression like the one that we brought in using a splice sample, we can just use that. If you are creating your own chord progression, you can look at this as an example here. And we've talked about hook theory before, and it all comes back down to chord progressions and cadences and hook theory and thinking about different harmonic rhythms. Like, are you going to change the chords every beat? Are you going to anticipate a beat change before status quo beat would change? Would you put it a little bit earlier and then so it leads into that beat? Are you going to do 3 bars on one chord and the 4th bar on a different chord? Something else? It's up to you. But let's say that you're going to use that chord progression that we got from a splice example, those samples. So now we're going to sequence it. So we're going to add that chill sub bass sound and have it use only the lowest notes in the chord progression. Now add the atmosphere and have it stay constant through the chord progression. So I think we're going to make this chord progression at the very beginning of the song. So the bass, atmosphere. So I guess all of these, meanwhile, we'll just deactivate them. So just highlight and press 0. We can just press 0 for now for these chords. We have this atmosphere here, cool. Or sub. Oh yeah. So okay, so we have this chord progression starting. We have the atmosphere and the bass. So if the atmosphere is an instrument sound, try just having it play the root key. So it's going to make sure that it sounds nice. So um, we just want it to be in key. So at bar 9, add the drum bill, not the main drum kit yet. So start with 1 note per bar, then 2 notes per bar. So we could, at bar 9, either make a drum build out of MIDI notes, or we can pull in. I'm just going to deactivate these until we use them. Where was our drum build sound? Here. So I just pressed Command D to duplicate it. So if we wanted to, we could do something like this. Or no, sorry, here. So it's off at 16, so it's building up there. Let's mute that drop groove for now. Minimize it. Let's just hear what we have. Okay, so we're gonna mix it more later on. Okay, so we are going to loop these here. So press Command D, and you can either highlight and press Delete for now, or bring in, press Undo, and just bring in the right corner so that there's a space. Oops. At 16, so something like this. I don't know if this drum build is going to work. Yeah, we might have to get a different sound. We can hear how it clashes, right? The other thing that we could do is do this 1 note per bar, 2 notes per bar, then 4, 6, 8, and then 13. So that would sound like this. First, you can press your cursor anywhere, press Command E, and then we could just delete that. Here. I'll just deactivate that for now. So I'm pressing Option on my keyboard and then clicking and dragging. Oops. So that's the idea. And if you wanted to, you could highlight all of these, press Option, and then drag, and then Option for all of these, highlight, drag, and then maybe highlight those, press Command D to duplicate, and then maybe for these, Option, we zoom in, Option, drag again. Could sound like this. And actually, maybe here is where we Option, click, drag. Here's we'd have that double time, and then here we could even go into highlight those, highlight all of these and bring all of them, the right side should be brought in. But if we bring in all of these, one of the things that we could try, you could keep it if you want, you don't have to. Drag it over. So it would sound like this. And then the drop would happen at bar 17. All right. If we want, for right now, we can just click here on measure 9 and press set. Right click, rename, or do Command I. Let's just call this our build for now. Build. All right. Cool. So let's add the lead. So the lead functions as an escape from the loop, independently on its own. So leads often use notes from the chords happening underneath them, but it's not often not the root note. So second, third, or fifth are really common. So let's add this lead here over. So we had this whole highlight 0. Let's duplicate the chords here. What's happening here now? It might be too much definitely happening at once, but we're going to go with it for now, and then we'll cut things back. So we're going to add the turnaround somewhere in bar 16. Usually halfway through. So there's a half bar of silence to create the anticipation. So let's add that turnaround idea. So remember, we had these really cool vocal chops. I was thinking for this one, this upper one, to solo it. Because it repeats 3 times, what if we just use this part? And it would come in halfway through. And if I just click there and press Command E to cut it. But maybe we actually want to cut it after this mark there, because that's a click. I'll just move it over to the side for now. What does it sound like? I'll just deactivate that. Oh, it's so low. So it would be something like this. And then the drop would happen. If we wanted, we could try this and maybe mess with the timing. I think for right now, it's good just to keep it simple. And we also had this one, which could be, maybe if we did a repeat of this later on in the song, we could use this instead. So let's keep this for now. I'm going to keep that part deactivated. You know, we could even delete that if we wanted, and then just drag out, and we have that original sample. But I'll just leave it for now. Okay. So we have that turnaround in there. So we just have that build-up now. I still think that there needs to be a good amount of editing with these chords. Oh, this lead actually needs to come in at bar 9. All right, so my feeling is that we'll cut things out of here to make it simpler, but let's get the structure down first and then we can erase things to create more space. All right, so bar 17, make a 1-bar pattern with a kick and snare drum rack. So we wanted to make it really simple. So we'll go up here to the kick. This is at bar 17. We'll take our first kick, press 0, snare. All right, so for a kick, we could do just a 1-bar pattern, highlight, press Command L. And right now I'm pressing Command D. But do you see right now when I did that, and they're all longer than that 1 beat length? So just make sure if you're locking into the grid for that, and then press Command D, and it should make sense. And the snare will come on that 2 and 4 for like a simple beat. Maybe I'll make this kick a little louder, -3. -2, and we'll adjust as time goes. Maybe pull this back a little bit for now, so they just sound good together. All right, so now we're going to double the length of this and make an edit to the second repeat only. So we'll have a 2-bar variation with an edit the second time through. So highlight it all, Command D, boom. Maybe we could do like 2 kicks at the end. So just drag that in, and it will cut the audio sample off a little bit, but that's okay. So what if we do something like this? So it's like very simple, or we could even make it a triplet, which would be kind of cool. So if you right click on your screen and go triplet grid, and maybe we'll open this up so we can see these quarter notes where the quarter note grid line is here. Let's test out what that would sound like. We could either leave it like this, we could also drag it in like that. Just see. That was all right. That's kind of groovy. Okay. So now we're gonna double the length of this entire pattern and make an edit only to the second repeat of the big pattern, adding a kind of sudden ending to the pattern, so there'll be a fill. So we'll have a 4-bar pattern with a fill at the end. We'll just highlight all of this, Command D to duplicate, and we're going to make a fill at the end of here. So we can use fill sound. Like something with a percussion could be cool. What did we have here? Dwilly. Oh, that could be cool at the end of this pattern, the sound, and maybe doing something else with it as well. So we see that the end of this pattern is, this is measure 20. So maybe here, what if we mute those for now? We're still on triplet grid. We could do something, I don't know. We could play around with it. What do we have our turnaround? Oh, we have this other turnaround. And then this we could do something else with, but I'm not yet sure what we will do. Maybe we'll put this back off the triplet grid. We could do something like this. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll move this in over here. We can play around with what we do with these later on. So now we're going to double the length of this huge pattern and make an edit to the very end. Not yet sure what we'll do with these, so let's just bring them back to the beginning for now. Maybe the answer will come. All right, so one easy way to double this is just highlight it all, click all, and then do file, edit, duplicate time, bam. So now we have the whole thing again. Maybe we'll keep these first duplicates, and then just the ending we'll edit. We'll edit that. And then we'll do a full bar turnaround here. All right. So I have a fill on bar 4 and salads on bar 8 of this pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have a silence here. Yeah. We will let's cut all that space. And then for here, maybe this will come in again on space. We can also chop it up and make it really glitchy so it fits the tempo. But let's just save it and just keep going. All right, so at bar 25, here, we need to make a 1-bar pattern using the hats or the shakers. So I personally like doing hats first. And so we copy this, edit, duplicate that time, and now we're going to get our hi-hats. Just click, drag them all over, and so actually, so an easy thing that you can do is just have these go on the 16th notes, which are every one of these. Once you put 4, highlight, press Command D, and you could continue pressing Command D. Or actually, one of the things that I like to do, pressing Command Z right now to undo that. If that takes a while, I'll just do this. Is maybe like on the 8th one, put in an open one. And then you could just to duplicate that. And if you wanted to stretch this out, you could. Oops. Maybe it's easier to do this. And then here. So this might be easier to duplicate by highlighting it at here. Drag it over. Oops. And we'll probably cut stuff out from this final bar here. And then we're going to delete all the notes in bar 32 and add another turnaround so it feels like another phrase is going to drop on bar 33. So you could either highlight and do one bar, boom. You might not want to delete that open hi-hat though. So we could just leave that because it's going to be the tail of that head. So we could have it that fast, or we could have it half of that speed. Oh, it kind of sounds cool if it's like the 4 and then more. So you could really do what you want with it. Just going in and highlighting. Oops. And here on our grid, so we could try that, or we could have it build up to that. Maybe it'd be better to, right now, just keep it simple. So I made it sparser. And maybe take the volume down with those. And maybe do these every other one. And it'll evolve as we go. All right, so select everything from bar 17 to 30 through and duplicate everything so we have another phrase. I think we lost our music there. One easy way to highlight things is just to make big bar lines. So it'd be something like this. Definitely cacophonous for right now, but we will adjust it. All right, so we're going to duplicate this whole thing. Edit, duplicate time. A bar 33, we should make a 1-bar pattern on the ear catching percussion. know what? I think what's also distracting right now is that there's so much happening in this synth. It's just too much. So right now I might just go in and edit it a little bit to taste. So what happens if I just you could do something like this. Cut, cut, 0. We could just cut big parts of it. Let's see. Or we could even have this go there. Oh, it could be cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then what happens here? That was kind of cool. So you hear how it sounds a lot better when it's not as much stuff happening. And because we have so much other stuff going on here, I'll just delete that. Let's listen. You can even do 2 bars, space, highlight that. Do this. Do this. Let's listen to what that sounds like. Oh, and then if we're gonna have that turnaround here, where do the drums come out? Cut out at 36. So an easy thing that you could do is go loop it to a bar, Command L to loop, and you could either delete everything in here, which we don't want to delete because we have this already placed there, but oops. You could press Command E on your keyboard if something is a larger part of a group. Like if I just press delete, it's all gone. Undo. If I click here on the grid line, press Command E, cut, delete. Command E, Command E. So cutting away. I think we'd have to adjust the timing on this a little bit more. I think like this here should happen on the downbeat, like this. Maybe. We'll experiment with it. But listen to how different it sounds with space versus a lot. So let's listen to it again with space. All right, now. This is like too much. So let's just go ahead and delete all of that. And if you delete all of that, it's all right. We have the sound, the original sample and splice, plus we can always get it back by just dragging it open. So it works. But I think what would be easier with this if we do like 2-bar loop and just highlight all of it. We'll just delete this. So I just Command paste, duplicate for Command D again, and we'll put it here, or Command paste. And there, we have this. So it still is pretty repetitive with those same notes, but it is better than what it was. We also want to delete all of these tails of that turnaround. Also, notice how we have this turnaround and this one and this. So maybe we might want to alternate those turnarounds. It could be more interesting. So what happens if we click and drag this over to happen right there? Maybe mute this 0. Drag that in so it's just right on there. But maybe if we do that, let's look again where the drums cut out. Command L. Delete that. Maybe here we could press 0 for those. I'll put it on 1 bar. It's easier to do from a distance. Cut, Command E, for all of those cut. Oh, it's on loop. Looks like we'll probably have a cut here as well. So let's just look. Yeah. So if we click that loop bracket, it will illuminate all of those. Cut, cut. It looks like it's already cut. Let's see. And yeah, we should just delete all of this. Because what we're going to do to fill in this space is use reverb and delay and effects like that. Oh, and look how there's a space here. These should be duplicated. This should have this space like the one before. Because we copied and pasted the section from 17, we were getting this empty part, but now we wanted to make sure that these hi-hats were still going like normal. Here we have that up and down checkerboard arrangement. Maybe this one will keep, maybe we'll move it back up. How about we move it back up so it goes back and forth? So we might go to 16th notes or even, let's see, 8th notes. We could go to quarter and be able to see these grids much more easily. And I'll just mute this one to 0. Cool. Command S, save. All right. So now we're going to add that ear catching percussion. So here we're doing triple meter over duple meter, and it's polyrhythmic. And this is what gives really cool motion and energy. And this is where those congas are going to come in. So it could be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, etc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go experiment with that. Here we have percussion. Wait, we were going to do this, yeah, bar 33. So highlight 0 to activate them again. Bring them back in here. And let's also just highlight, 2 measures. Command L, I'm looking at 30. Well, that's 4 measures, 38 to 37. This is our conga 1. Do 1 measure. Conga. So instead of percussion, let's rename it. We had like a high one. This one is mid. This one is really high, actually. This is the highest. So I would say this might be low, and it's not even low, but it's lower. You can do whatever you want, really. Now, let's go into here and go to eighth notes. It could be helpful to shorten these up into 16th notes on a grid. They're so short anyway. And we'll just leave that. Typical drum patterns for congas, there are different patterns that you can use, but something could be like this. You have it going on a rhythm like this. So you see how it's not snapping into option drag. So those are just some things that you can do. There are also different rhythms that we could play with. You could look up rhythms or play around and do to make it more traditional or associated with a certain type of music, or you can also just be your own drummer and make stuff up. So what if we did like let's edit this rhythm later. There's a resource that I want to get on congas. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll pull it up right now. All right, I pulled up this resource that I found that I felt was really cool. It's from musicradar.com on how to program a basic Latin rhythm with congas and bongos. We're not making salsa music, but dance music does have like underlying rhythms. So it's not so like white and like step, clap, right? So we're gonna make something kind of like this to go underneath the music. And no, not that. Like this. No, not that one. It was like this. And you're going to hear how much more exciting it's going to be for the track. So we have a conga heel, conga tip, conga slap mute, and we could get sounds like that from here. Conga heel, and just something like a no. We can really use whatever we want, but here basically you see it's on these different 16th notes and doing little rhythmic patterns here. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. See how that was similar? We're just adding another note. So remember we talked about 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then this is the same, it just has some little fills in between. And then that whole pattern is just repeated here with a slightly different ending. So heel tip and then a slap mute. So we have Um, these four are happening before like the 1.2, which would be here. Just like as we have here. So the rhythm is good. So it's more just adding maybe command D to duplicate that. We could add, I don't know, conga. We could do high, mid, low, or I don't remember what this one, what we called it. Let's hide this. Snap. So basically, we could just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. The third one, I mean, of 1.2 would go back. 1, 2. This one would happen here, and also here. I think their rhythm is like this. 1, 2, down, up, down, up. Yeah. And then 2 more on those beats. And then this whole thing, these 2 and that were repeated, this and that were repeated, except for here we have different sounds. And then for those, we have 2 different sounds there. So far, before even adding in those new sounds, it'd be like this. And then we could just bring the volumes down and have it be lower in the mix and put effects on it. But you have to admit, it does definitely give it. Here's without it. It's all right. It definitely adds really cool flavor to it. Let's see what other percussion that we brought in here. I forget what this is. Nah, won't work for this. What is this one? Oops. Oh, these are those like funny snap things that we had. Maybe we could use this. Let's just cut, let's paste it over here. I'm gonna, it's a dwilly, guys. It's a dwilly. What does it sound like again? Why not? Just do something different. How about here? Let me use the dwilly here. We'll put it on those beats. So why don't we move this 132? And to get it to really line up, you can do Command and drag it over. You could have it have the transient hit there. Oops. This. Command, drag that over. And if we want to just tighten that up, we can do that. What does this sound like? This is going to take the place of these 2. Yeah. So now adding sounds like this within that rhythmic structure makes it less Latin and more just grooving. And we could add more rhythmic sounds like these two in between. Um, well, it's actually just the same one being there moved to a different instrument and adding another really short one. But why don't we just keep ours for now? All right, cool. So we have that. And we have this 1 bar pattern. And then we duplicated it and we changed the ending of it. So why don't we just make this like 4 bars now? We can just duplicate this. Does this make sense? Line up the way that we want it to? No, it didn't line up the way that we wanted it to. There we go. Just like Command D. Put that up there. So we gotta get this to 49. All right. And we could bring these all down. They're all at -6. So why don't we just pull them all down to -10 for now? All right, so we'll definitely want to cut it out here. And here. And here. We could pretty much just press delete for everything because nothing is already here. We'll delete that. It will delete the beginning of this, but watch this. Stretch, boom. So if we wanted to cut that there, we could. All right, so we got that going. Save, always good thing to do. All right, so at bar 41, let's add our drum build again, and we can also use our riser to build up to the end of the phrase. Oh yeah, our drum build wasn't really working. Oh, we did that one. Okay, so bar 41 and riser to the end of the phrase. So let me just set like a loop bracket here to make it easy to see what we're working within. All right, so let's bring this riser, option, drag. Yeah, because we wanted to cut off 1 bar beforehand. And also this. If you're going to be moving things from far out, not zoomed in, it does help to make the grid bigger so that it doesn't get all messed up. Okay, so we need to cut this. And there is a lot happening right here. We'll decide what we're going to do with that in a bit. But basically, we're prepping to have another drop here. I'll just put a marker there at 49. Okay. So we have this beat that is the foundation of our drop section. So at bar 17, we're going to make a 1-bar pattern with a sub bass sound. We're not adding too many different pitches. We just want to make sure we have the root note of the scale with a loud sub. And just going to copy the rhythm of the kick with the long sub bass. It's going to make that drop seem loud and have bass. So let's duplicate. We're here. Highlight Command L. All right, so let's go into we're on those quarter notes. We could do a number of things. We could do something like this. Make this louder. So what if we did something like this? So we're going to do it every time the kick hits. So it'll be 17, 7.2, 0.3, 0.4. Here I have it anticipating one before. Let's see. And we could just duplicate this. Or we can have it like this. Or even just one. Here's it without it. It's just kind of weak. Or we can also change this later on if we want to make it stronger. We could use just a basic sine wave, your MIDI. We could do a lot of different stuff to it. So yeah, long sub bass notes would be better. Maybe the sub that we have right now isn't that strong. So why don't we just look for like sub? Then we'll look for it in G. The very song is in G minor. So key, yeah, because it's not hitting that strong right now. It is chill, but it's not strong. We want it to be like filling out. It's like a one-shot sub. Let's hear it's strong. That's cool, but it does move through a lot of. These are much better low end. sub. Let's see something. Yeah, I mean, like these. I don't like that one. Let's just use that. All right. And if we want to change it, we can. Oh, let's just delete that for now and see. We could put it in a new track or put it here. All right, so it's pretty big, powerful sub. So maybe we do want something that's a little shorter. Maybe, what if we do something in a different genre? Because trap and has like really long subs. Are these one shots? They look like loops, but maybe it is a one shot. Oops. Yeah. Let's see, click that on. See how short that was? I think that one's probably the best one. Because what we would have to do for this one, oops, is get it matching with the kick, like this. And it's just like a little bit too much. Stylistically, the sounds don't match up as well. This one is a little bit better. Ooh, wait, undo. That's cool. We could maybe do something a little bit longer. Let's try this one. Want something to like kind of fill up the measure more or the beat more, but not be, yeah. These are like in between. It's definitely more present. Can we find something in between? Just like one last time, and then we're just gonna, if we don't find anything, we'll use what we have. Just going for the ones that definitely are one shots. All right. Well, let's just try all of these real quick and see what fits. We had that one. Or that we tried that one. That one could be okay. That one's too big. So it could also be okay. I feel like this one could be a match. Yeah. All right, so let's listen without it. Yeah. Now with it. I don't know if you can hear it so well. Let me turn it up. Oh, sorry to blast you. Definitely a lot like fuller, right? So we're just gonna have it match the kick, whatever kick pattern you do. You might do a more syncopated boom bap, boom bap rhythm with your kick and snare, but we're gonna have just whenever you do, duplicate the kick to fill in that low end. So we're gonna double this pattern and delete the notes on the last beat to create silence before the end of the pattern. So this will make it feel like the bass drops again when the pattern loops. So here, Command D. That's on the last beat. So it would be here like 18. We're not going to do the whole bar, but just drop that out. And we would cut it out there as well. Let's listen to this pattern and hear what it sounds like. Oh, we actually have some things change. Maybe we'll clean this up there a little bit because there's like difference of having the drums, but yeah, definitely not as good as like our simple, like this, not as good as this. So simple. So now we're making that 4-bar sub bass pattern with half bar silence at the end for the fill. Um, so maybe here, I don't know, maybe we'll do this. Where this is a half bar silence and this is a full bar. We can try different things and see what works. Let's just hear this. And we can adjust the timing for that if we want. Yeah. Okay, so we have 4-bar sub-bass pattern with silence at the end. Yep, there's a silence. Here's where it drops out a little bit. All right. Now we're going to double the length of this pattern again and select all of the notes in the second repeat. Wait, this should be an 8-bar pattern. This will be the 8-bar pattern. This will be our 8-bar pattern again. So these ones here, bars 4 through 8 of this 8-bar pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these ones. And now we're going to transpose them up or down. So we're going to let's see how low they are already. It's pretty low, so it's not much place to really go lower, but if we highlight them all and transpose up by 12, let's hear. Maybe we would just bring the volume down there by, I don't know, let's start with 4. Just curious what would happen if we transposed it down by 12. It might get lost in the stereo system. Yeah. Oops. So we have these highlighted. And 4. Maybe we'll make them like -5 for now. So these are higher, so they're a lot louder, but we're going to bring them down in volume. And you know what? Let's just delete all of these. We can add them back in if we want. And another thing that could be useful is for when we are doing transpositions or other alterations, it's helpful to color it differently so that we can see a difference. Maybe we'll use a blue instead of a purple. There. Oh shoot, this one got off. Those are not going to fit. Maybe we want to drag it. So just make sure everything lines up to the grid. You see these ones didn't. My bad. There we go. So we're going to delete everything in bar 32 to make room for the turnaround. I feel like maybe this turnaround would be better here. And then maybe this one, we could do another drum fill there. But maybe this is better. And like the halfway spot here, and we could do another little fill there instead. And we'll add some other things for space in those areas. Like, for example, we'll just make this one longer like that. I think we cut off too much space in the beginning. I mean, it's also subjective. You can do what you want. Without the same amount of space. Let's add a marker here at 17 because things do start happening there. So we see here we're adding half a bar of space, full bar, half, full. And we can also do the same here. And edit as we like. And we can just like that. All right. So we'll have this sub is present everywhere from 17 to 49, and rooms in bar 32 and 48 for the turnaround. 17 to 49. Yeah. Maybe we'll actually do more stuff happening in this space. Not yet sure what we're going to do with that turnaround. Okay, so we're going to add those turnarounds later. 17, we need to have a 1-bar pattern on the drop synth. So make it intense with short notes. So have fun, don't be boring. All right, so let's get our drop synth. Oh. I know it's happening. This sub bass would happen in the build, maybe if we use it. Let's see what we have here. Let's turn that off. So. All right, so here, 17, we're gonna have a 1-bar pattern with the drop synth. Let's see, oh yeah, we also have these synth sounds as well that we're thinking about doing call and response with. Or, I like these on their own as well. They're actually more interesting than this initial one. So what if we did something like this? Something like this. Oh, and you know what? This sub is not our chill sub. This sub is our drop sub. My bad. Sometimes I'm making stuff let's go with different things that feel good. Remember we deleted stuff there. Let's see what would happen on this one. We're gonna mute this for now. Let's use this for sure. This pattern for this lead would be maybe happening. Maybe these chords are going to be happening here. Oh. Maybe let me change it up. So maybe we'll do something like this. So what we're thinking of here is, this is going to change quite a bit, but the idea is that here we have one section going into the build and another section going into the drop. For this, because these are all just duplicates right now, I'll just delete those to make it easier to see. And then cut it at the spaces. And these would be cut like halfway in the space to leave room for effects, delays, reverbs, turnarounds, things like that. Or vocals. All right, so we have that going. Now, we're gonna have it with that one bar pattern with this drop synth and make it interesting and fun. You could also do vocals there. It doesn't have to be like this synth here at all, but it's just one idea as an example. So we're going to add variation to the second half, which we did by using a different sound. And then delete all the notes in the last bar to make space for the turnaround synth. Well, actually, we called these our turnaround synth. And this is our initial synth drop. But you see how, yeah, ideas can change. It feels so weak. Maybe that could be the drop for now. Or we could do a vocal turnaround there. I just kind of think the vocal is a lot stronger. Yeah, we'll just keep that vocal turnaround there, which already exists up here. Cool. And so we have the turnaround. Now we're going to select everything in the second repeat, the second part of that repeat, and we're going to transpose everything so they match the sub bass. So it'd be these four. So to match the bass is going up an octave, so all of these will go up an octave. And maybe we'll color these as well so we can see a difference visually. Yep, let's just see what that sounds like. So first is just so that's the idea. And then this would repeat that as well. And then at bar 17, make an empty pattern that is 4 bars. And then we're going to go to the end and add it there. We had all these different sub ideas. This is the sound that we thought could be cool. So to make a 4-bar pattern with those, we could do a bunch of different stuff. Something like I don't have any of it, but let's listen to it in context. So we're going to go to the last bar of this pattern and add the turnaround. We're going to add this where we've been waiting for it. So for example, here at 32, you could add a 4-bar or 4-beat pattern, or you could also just like maybe make it really glitchy, or you could do a reverse into it. Transpose it up. Or we could have it go to a triplet grid. Which could be fun. I don't know. Let's listen to it in context. Oh, that other turnaround was happening there. Oh, now I see what we're, now I remember what we're doing. We're going to add this I, maybe here, in that half one. That would be in the full. maybe just then we would also add this in again at, copy and drag it over. Oops. Option, drag it over. So this is the beginning of our song. Okay? So we're going to duplicate it. The sounds are taking turns. If the fills are cluttering it, we can adjust it. Remember, like with this drum build and fills. And I also think this is way too loud of a riser. It's all right, so this is the beginning of a song. It's like halfway through. So what you would do from this point is maybe bring this back in here. So we like cut that. Let's maybe have it like this. Oops. Or maybe you have a different sub bass that you would have there. And then maybe you would bring in these chords and all of this here again. So that's an idea, and then you could have that extend. A quick way to do stuff like that, highlight Command L, file or edit. You could like copy this time, and then file. Sorry, edit, paste time. That might be copied to your keyboard. No. Yeah, I did there. But that's a fast way. And then you could bring it back into this other section. And we would get more advanced with adding transitions. Click on this little button up here and add automation for volume and reverb and delay, and we could do the EQ filter sweeps and all things like that. But now this is the basis for you to have a track, and you can also bring these sub ideas back in, have different subs underneath the drop and also under the build, and add vocals if you'd like, all sorts of stuff. So I hope this gets you started, and that's it. Thanks a lot. See you later.